Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. This time I'm going to provide you some actual content on a rant I'm going to do right now, as this video is being recorded on a security camera, and if you were to look carefully, it's better if I describe what's going on. So this man that you see peeping on the gate happens to be the homeowner, and the people by the staircase that are like on the bottom level happen to be his assassins. There's at least, I can count, two of them. The reason why I want to talk about this topic is because I've been mentioning a lot about self-defense, and this is one of the reasons why you should be able to prepare yourself is in any circumstance if someone is willing to harm you. Whatever the reason may be why these two men decide to go after him, but things do start to spiral out of control, as someone must have hired these guys to come after him. But the funny thing is, like, it seemed the guy, although he seems a little nonchalant, seems like he's a little confused as to what's going on, but he came prepared, I can tell you now, as I show you what happens in the next clip. So I can't show you the video, you guys, because YouTube will most likely try to remove it because they want to be sure to censor as much gun violence as possible, anything that is very like anything that could break their guidelines. So I have to be careful, but it's best I explain to you and show you what's happening in the scenario. So the two men, even though it's very interesting, is how I don't get how these men, for the assassins, they're the first ones to pull out and draw their guns out of their pockets. But the first man, like the homeowner, he pulled his gun last, and he managed to have the upper hand. If you guys get what I mean. So he's pulling the one man is pulling his gun out. He starts firing the most, and yet these guys end up getting smoked. So they did not come prepared in this situation. They thought they had the advantage simply because there was at least two of them, but even though they managed to pull their guns first, this man RV was prepared. It was more that he was patient enough, because whether his life was on the line is that he felt he was confident in himself, and he believed that he was within his rights. You also gotta respect the Fifth Amendment. Like, he has every right to use self-defense regardless, especially if someone decides they want to put their hands on you, they want to pull a gun at you, especially put your life at risk wanting to kill you. Because I don't know whatever the cause may be, I don't know whatever the reason is. There's no way I'm losing my life for some nobody, honestly. And he is completely justified. I don't blame, like, whether he's a good man or not, whether he is wanted by several people. Just let it be known that person has every right to defend themselves. They're going to make sure to protect themselves 24/7, and that it's important. Because you want to be, because that's the point of living, honestly. Because if you want to be able to live your life, there's no way you let someone kill you or beat the shit out of you, whatever, but because that's basically suicide. And the good thing is that concerns within his household, whatever property he's living in, where I can't get any, there's no details, no one has provided me info as to where this took place. But I do know if someone is willing to break into your house, I'm not even sure how the two assassins broke into the house. They might have had some kind of lockpick or some like door experience with pretty much like unlocking doors, whether it's without a lockpick or they have the capabilities based on their training, whoever has hired them, because they were basically supposed to take this job based on their experience. And although yes, they did fail, at the same time, it's so weird how they knew by drawing they knew that if they drew first, and then it was considering it was two of them, they felt that they would be more in the comfort zone of being able to kill this man. But little did they know that even though he was a lot slower than them, he managed to survive and beat both of them. like I said, for who knows, it could, because when people, when the fact that in the, like from the clip that I saw, when they talk about assassins, they didn't mention how many people were after him. They didn't talk about a specific number, but I can tell you, I saw at least two guys. So there was at least two men. So maybe had there been more, maybe it would have been a completely different scenario. It would have been it would have been a completely different turn of events, honestly, because maybe the tide would have turned for the homeowner, or it would have the tide would have turned for the opposers. If you guys get what I mean. Because I'm sure had there been more men after him, then he would have been even in a more tighter spot. He would have much more difficulty trying to defend himself because he's trying to defend himself against three or more other men. But again, whatever the reason may be that these guys are after him, whoever hired him, people are gonna claim that they're gonna excuse, oh, it's gonna be, oh, it's their job. They simply did it for the money. But whether it's for the money or not, do you honestly think you'll be able to get out safe? Do you honestly think the police are not gonna be able to track these people down? Chances are they will. It's just because people these days are very desperate and don't think of the consequences. Although they know there may be consequences, they think if the police, if they don't attract too much attention by law enforcement, and then the cops are busy with other crimes, they feel they're in the comfort of their zone. They're in the comfort in their own home. They're in the comfort of their own group. They feel like they can somehow cover the tracks and the police won't notice. But the police have ways of actually tracking people down based on witnesses, fingerprints, DNA, any of that. Which is something I'm not too sure these guys are aware of. Which I believe the homeowner, has every right to defend themselves. He should have killed them the moment they stepped into his property. And I also want to let you guys know on an important detail. Had this taken place outside his home, like whether it was like on the street or inside of a store, and these guys did that like in public, where the chances are people are gonna see it and they have even more video footage and putting the lives of other people. Chances are, if he killed these men, he would be the one going to jail. Let's be real. Because I've seen too many cases where men or whoever, people who defend themselves from like the assailants or aggressors, they tend to be the ones that are like that are arrested. They're the ones that end up getting confronted by law enforcement and having the and end up being handcuffed simply because even though they knew their life was in jeopardy, they felt like they realized they cannot. There was no reason for them to be pressured by the police for them to not do anything and let them die. Because the whole point is you want to live. That's the whole meaning of living your life at the fullest. So even though even especially because I guarantee you this though, the peer pressure from law enforcement is enough to stop these people from killing, especially in self-defense. That should not be a reason. If law enforcement peer pressures you into saying you can't defend yourself, you might as well say fuck it. I might as well just go to jail and protect my life, so that the chances of me being able to see my family, me being able to exist, has a purpose. But these guys, either way, the assassins pretty much failed. They did end up they end up losing their lives in the act because they chose to not think of the mere consequences and how dire the situation may be had they not thought about it, had they not come prepared, and think only for them to avoid getting involved with law enforcement. And what I mean by that, they're not thinking of the legal issues going on in the country, especially in America, and any big country that that's well aware that cares about the lives of others. And they're not thinking of any of those repercussions, and it would definitely lead to a lot of legal issues on top of people family members who care for those who may have lost their loved ones or the people that are closest to them, their significant other, and that eventually it's going to fall on them and they're going to have a hard time sleeping. It's like at the end of the day, it's like you put yourself in this situation, but if you're willing to do this, you might as well face the consequences. Because I don't know how these men are going to sleep at night. I don't know how you wake up and say, okay, we just end up killing somebody. My day is going to be better than the last one, so I might as well live it and just simply forget about what happened. Because that's the thing. When you turn a blind eye and you don't care about what happened, or you don't care about how you abused and take advantage of others, it's gonna follow you for the rest of your life, and then karma will catch up to you. And which it did right now. Immediately, the moment they start going after this man, even if whether it was their job or not, it start to fall on them, and they feel like the bigger failures. And the person that hired him, now it's gonna trace back to the person that hired them. The people that tried to kill the homeowner that tried to kill the homeowner, it's going to trace back to the person who paid those guys, and he's the one that's going to suffer legal consequences. So the party that ended up winning was the homeowner, and the assassins, they ended up failing. Not only did they end up losing their life, pretty much anybody who supported the assailants are all in for immediate trouble. And I hope whoever decided that they should contribute will be the ones to be able to answer to law enforcement, and may as well suffer a heavy impact, and as well as possibly leading to those who were involved into serious trouble. And it'll just escalate to the point that it's going to make the law enforcement make sure that if this does ever happen again, they're going to be more super cautious, and they're going to be sure to monitor anybody involving any violence or any hostility towards the area within these surroundings, and so that that man will be justified in what he does from now on. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.